Welcome for another review of University of Phoenix course reviews. It's operator 77788 here, and let's go on and talk about University of Phoenix. Alright, as you guys might know, the very first thing you need to do when taking a course with University of Phoenix, any course which I found helpful and really that really progressed me throughout my five-week course in this accelerated course bachelor's degree / associate's degree is your syllabus. This is the course I just got done taking, passed really great scores, and what I found to be very helpful was to go ahead and take this, which is a planner, or your cell phone if you like keeping track of your items digitally. No pun intended. They still sell these things, so why not take advantage of handwritten stuff, which I really enjoy. So we're in the month of June, or July, but the previous class I took was in June. 5 weeks. So this is what it looks like here. This is what my calendar looked like in the month of June. I'd like to go ahead and write down the 5 weeks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is the very first thing I do, guys. And then I go ahead and take the syllabus and read the overview. So what am I expected to do? So obviously you read through the syllabus. You go ahead and do your calendar stuff. Plot out how many hours you're going to spend on assignment and when you're going to do it. Not too difficult, but I know it might be difficult when I hit the upper level classes. But what I found useful is schedule review right here. What am I expected? So again, consult your academic counselor. Great help. He or she will help you throughout this whole process. Not with grades, not with doing your work for you, but as far as helping you gauge your time management, where you could try to fit in things. The beautiful thing about online school, guys, you don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worrying about how close am I to a restroom if you have an emergency, or what else, permanent stuff. Your books, you can get your books. I had a problem with that the last course. Yeah, last course with business communications. I don't know if I described it to you guys or talked about it, but I had a little trouble getting my textbook. But with that textbook, boom, my grade shot up. So if you're a type of person, you gotta know the way you learn, right? You learn by reading a book, and you have to hear the lecture or whatnot. Then I highly recommend going ahead and reading the book and try to read it out loud, right? If you're an auditory learner, I'm not an auditory learner. I'm the type of learner that I have to physically write things down like this in color and associate my text with things and with items and help visualize a story. I think that's what I'm really good at. I'm pretty decent at writing. I'm not the best writer, but my discussion points are up there. I'm getting really good discussion points just because I'm able to describe things. So if you stick around to the maybe 6 to 7 minute mark, I'll go ahead and timestamp it. I'll talk about my strategies of getting good points on discussion boards. So the overview of the class, pretty simple. Go ahead and talk to your academic counselor. You might not need to take it because it just goes over the tools you use in the office, which is your software tools you use in the office, which is Microsoft Word, your Excel, and your PowerPoint. Your Microsoft bundle thing you guys use. There might be something different in the Apple platform, and that's pretty much it. And then it briefly discusses, you briefly learn about how the computers work and how the computer networks are set up a little bit. Not in great detail. This is not this course. It wasn't about coding or anything. It's just to give you an overview of how our I guess generally how networks are set up, right? Your Wi-Fi, your servers and all that, because I didn't know those things. And it briefly talked about what's inside a computer. A lot of people don't know about what's inside a computer. your hard components, like your 7 components you need in a computer in order to have a computer working properly, which pretty much is your CPU, your GPU, your hard drive, your motherboard. What else? Your motherboard. They didn't talk about power supplies, but you need power to power up the motherboard and all the other components in the computer. But it's not a class about building a computer. It's just going over components. It's pretty simple if you're really good with computers. But without further ado, let's go ahead. We're hitting that 6-minute mark. Thanks for sticking around. Let's go ahead and talk about discussion questions. I find I'm doing really well in discussion questions because with discussion questions, guys, you want to respond in a way where it's not sounding negative, or you're not going to get a negative response when people are reading your text or your post, right? So then proofread, right? So you want to proofread. Go to it says this on Phoenix. Go ahead and proofread. If you're like the first generation student going to get their bachelor's degree, you don't have that, so you really don't. It's hard for you to find support of people who could proofread your writing, right? So there's no shame in the game, right? Just go ahead and go into Grammarly and learn and put your post in there, and Grammarly will help you do it. I personally don't use Grammarly. I took a course back in 2011, 10 or 9, something like that, in the early 2000s, about grammar and syntax and how things are supposed to be written. And then when I got done with my business communications class, that really helped emphasize how you're supposed to structure your responses, or how you're supposed to structure certain writing documents, which I really found helpful. I really enjoyed that class, believe it or not. It was a little struggle in the beginning, but I pulled off in the end with a B. I'm happy with that. But yeah, so let's go ahead. I don't want to spend too much time, but that's pretty much it with proofreading. You want to proofread your work because other students are going to want to read your work. Be concise and precise, and 175 words to me seems really short. I end up writing a lot, so my strategy for writing up, like if you're one of those people that love writing and write a lot, just break down your paragraphs to like 3 or 4 not sentences, but 3 or 4 lines. Those of you know who I'm talking about when we're speaking in lines, right? So you don't want to put a whole page on there, because a lot of these students are working and all that. So what you want to do is just put them by lines. So my strategy is no more than 3 to 4 lines per response, and that's helping me keep track of keeping my word count to 200 to 175 to 200 words a response. And that's very helpful, because not only does it help keep me in track of responding, but it's teaching me to be more concise in my writing, because I like to use a lot more descriptive words. I like to go on and almost formulate a ABC, which I call beginning, middle, end, in every type of writing I do, right? So I like to, and I enjoy the writing process so much, because I enjoy taking something complex and just breaking it down into an ABC story. Like, this is how my mind works, believe it or not. It's just ABC. So tell me, in everything, conversation and in writing, just try to visualize and tell me a simple story. For example, tell me a nursery rhyme of the 3 Little Pigs. Tell me about that story. And every time I write, I always try to figure out how can I tell this story shorter and more effectively. You can go on with the details. That's another class for another day. But as far as responding goes, you want to tell the 3 Little Piggy story as short and as quick as possible. So we all know the premise of the 3 Little Pigs, right? It's a story about 3 pigs who build 3 buildings, and those 3 buildings are made with different materials. And then the bad wolf gets angry for some odd reason and destroys those houses. And then apparently the one building that truly survives is a brick building. So that was about a 20, 30 second or 40 second me telling you the story in a very non-descriptive manner. That was bare bones and blah blah. So how do I take what I just said to you and break it down even further? All right, 3 pigs, 3 houses, wolf, 3 different materials, built from the houses. The big one stood tall, due from external forces. Period. Wow, that's really good. I think that's as far as I could probably go as of the moment, but in the future it might be better, or I might be able to break that down even further. So that's one tip for discussion questions. I don't think they're ever going to get rid of that, because a pattern I'm seeing with University of Phoenix, they always want you to respond. And when you go to respond to other students, try to keep it as simple as possible too. First thing I like to do is identify who writes the same way as I do. And I like to go for the one that responds the longest, because I like to read, and the more stuff I read, the quicker I can, if I had to, and if I was running tight on time this week, I'm able to read something shorter. And sometimes when something's shorter, it's not always the easiest thing to get through, guys. Remember, sometimes when it's shorter, you have to process things a lot more thoroughly, right? So then what I like to do in that state is, okay, I'm short on time. I know that if I read this, I'm going to need to process, so I'm going to need a little bit more time to respond to that, versus reading something yay long from another student, and you're able to, once you read it, you get through it, you could probably read it 2 or 3 times, and then boom, you can respond to it a lot quicker than those small paragraphs other students write. They're not as long and descriptive. So there's a time and place for it, and I think, and I'm not bashing students who write shorter responses. What I'm saying is those students still not get a bad grade, or because you don't know how they're going to respond to something else. It might be a flip-flop, because I was like that for a week, where I wrote something just on the bare minimum of a 175, but then I was like, oh man, I'm worried. I didn't think I wrote enough that following week. So then I would go to respond, and then boom, I'll chat something longer to that piece. So it's just don't go in there in the discussion, write 2 or 3 sentences, guys, and try to 2 or 3 sentences at a time. It's just follow the rules. The rules are general. It's just 175, respond. And then sometimes your instructor will respond to your post, which I think was pretty cool. It's 12 minutes. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I know you guys have got to go. I'll tell you what. I'll save that one for this next course. Just remind me on the comments that I want the next video I'm going to make is I'm going to talk about the response that one of my instructors made on one of my posts, which I thought was pretty cool. And I think it was a generic post, because he sent pretty much the same thing to everybody else, but I think it was pretty cool. Pretty neat. So without further ado, thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. You dig. And catch you in the next one. Go ahead and watch the other videos that are not related to school. I kind of needed a break from the last class, because I had a long work week, a work period, and then to school, and I just wanted to do something different. So I went ahead and filmed some video gameplay. But yeah, I'll do that from time to time. I'm going to be going on vacay next week, so that's going to be interesting, doing schoolwork and vacay. I'll shoot another video on that one. And without further ado, comment, like, and subscribe, and take care. You dig?